wherever you may be. I am here in Western Australia on what is a windy afternoon, and I'm keen to have a chat with some of you about what we might expect for Formula One in 2025. That's the year, and we are a week into it, and already news coming out day after day. See today that Spa has announced that they will be having an extension to their contract agreement, but they won't get 28 or 30. That's 2028 and 2030. Those years will not be included. So I'm guessing, and I wonder why I'm not getting any. Oh, here we go. Hello, Chip. I wonder why they're not getting those years. I kind of figure they're sharing a race with another European city. So we shall see if that is indeed the case. Now, until we get a reasonable number, I'll just have a look at your questions and perhaps run through those. Hello, Philippine person. I was in your country this year. Hello, Denmark person. I've not been to Denmark. My gosh, these glasses are filthy. Weather-wise, windy, warm. I've got a couple of jet skis as a reward for some hard work last year, and we've been out on the water only on the nice days. And I can tell you, in Western Australia, this time of year, it is windy every day. Well, not every day, but certainly most afternoons that wind howls through. Thankfully, it cools things down, but it's terrible if you want to get out on a jet ski. Hello, Adelaide person. Hello, Bangkok person. Cheers from Central Victoria. And somebody loved my 2024 photo books. That's great. I'll bring this down a little bit, it makes it easier for me. I've actually got the small one there. And this big one, actually. I wonder if they put this up. This is actually a demo copy. I just got to test the printing, and it's beautiful. But it's only 7/8 of the book, but it's less than half price. If you're interested, DM me. You can have that for $490 if you pick it up in Perth. You must be in Perth or in Lantzelin to pick it up, because it costs. For me to post that overseas would be at least 200 Aussie dollars. But you can have the whole thing for $490. Hello, Terry Robertson, one of my most ardent followers. Always glad to see you. Now, when I actually decided to do this live stream, I looked at the time. What are we here? 5. So, Terry, what time is it where you are in the US? I gather you're in the US. It must be either 5 a.m. or 2 a.m. or somewhere in between. But I am looking forward to a ripper 2025. I'll be doing all races. Jace, my son, will be doing most. No. Well, he did 18 last year. He reckons he's down for 14 this year, and that gets him his permanent pass like it got him last year. What is it? 1:33 in Southern California. 9 a.m. in the UK, and I'm drinking soda water. And Nikki Jones. Nikki Jones with 2 Ks. My mother-in-law spells her name Vicky with 2 Ks. Is from Yorkshire. And you'll see me definitely next year running interference in the background of Martin Brundle's on the grid stuff. Although at the time, we don't take any notice of TV cameras. It's just such a crazy thing to be out on the grid. There are so many people. It's so squashy in some races. Probably the worst is Monaco, because the actual street is so narrow that there's no room to move, and you're trying to get through, and you're working out what celebrities are there, because typically there are a lot, and it's just tough to get around. So, new videos I'm working on. I've just done one about the super license fees. I've got one going up tomorrow night about Emirates, the difference between 2 of their 3 first-class seats, because I flew back from Nairobi on one of their first-class products and then back to Perth on another. It's a very good video. Runs about 20 minutes, I think. What else have I got coming up? A jet ski run down the coast of Western Australia. What else did I do? What happens in the 60 minutes prior to the start of a Formula One race? Minute by minute, what's going on? And you'll learn a whole lot of stuff. As I did, 10:35 a.m. in Belgium, where you've just been greeted by the news that you're going to get another 4 more years of Formula One at the track from 2026. But you're not getting years 2028 or 2031 because they've been blocked out. And I think we'll wait for an announcement that some other track will be getting those races. So you would have two venues sharing one race each year. Oh, somebody's asked here if I booked my flights. Daniel, any decent first-class flights this year? I've got, yes, the best first-class product in the world, which I'm pretty sure will be the Singapore Airlines The Suite, and I managed to get a points flight. So no real cash changing hands for a 13, 14-hour flight, Singapore-London, London-Singapore, I think. But I can't wait to review that suite because you get an actual leather, no, it's not a recliner, it's a sit-up seat, but you also get a separate bed. It's phenomenal. R.I.P. Yuki Tsunoda, says Simon. Yeah, I can imagine he would have been very, very sad, disappointed, angry when he found out that Liam, who'd done, 6 races or whatever it was, got the nod over him. Who knows what goes on behind closed doors. Is it the one that's towards the front of the first class? No, all 6 suites are exactly the same. Huge. -13, says Terry. Oh, that's not pleasant. Well, you'd be very keen to get out here, even if it is blowing a gale. The other day, I've got my phone here. The other day, I was jet skiing with dolphins, a mum and its calf, and 2 days prior to that, we stopped over at the island here in Lancelot. For you Western Australian people, you'll know where that is. And there was a sea lion swimming around us, popping up and having a look, and then he'd go back down and pop back up. The thing here with the dolphins is sometimes when you're going down the coast or up and down the coast, if you go at a certain speed and the dolphins are playful, they'll swim right next to you and bounce off your waves meters from you, and it's quite beautiful. Yes, R.I.P. Peter Van Egmond. That came as a surprise, Andre, and you might have seen my post on Instagram. Peter Van Egmond was a Formula One photographer for a long time. There's another fellow called Florent Goudin, who's an exceptional photographer, French gentleman, just a class act. He put a post up the other day saying that during his early time in the sport, Peter gave him a lift around the track. That's exactly what happened with me. I was at Barcelona pre-season testing in 2017, and I was clueless. It's the first time I've ever photographed from the moat at a Formula One track. And it was very late in the evening. In fact, it was so late that they'd stopped running, but I didn't realise they'd stopped running, and I had gone to the back of the circuit, so the media shuttles that were running around the track had finished, but he had a car, and like we were allowed to do then, we were allowed to drive around, but I didn't have a car. So anyway, he took pity on me and stopped and said, "Do you want a lift?" So that's the first time I met him. He had cancer, and he stopped shooting, was it mid last year, I think? Didn't shoot any, oh no, he came along to a couple of races, and the last time was, I don't have my computer here, but it was towards the end of the season, and I thought he looked great, and he was getting around, so it came as a real shock that he passed away. Milton Brownrigg, hello Milton. I'll see you in Melbourne, I think, in, 8 weeks' time? Milton is another one of my ardent followers out of the state of Victoria, Melbourne to be exact. I think I'm right in saying that, you're a Melbourneite. And I am very excited because in the old days, when Australia had the opening race of the season, there would be a photo shoot for all the drivers, and they'd come along and stand in front of all the media, and we'd photograph them. Now that was only in Australia. Then, of course, we missed out when COVID hit in 21, 2 and 3 and 4. First race was in Bahrain, and we didn't do that, but I've been asked to organise that for this year in Melbourne. So I'll be setting up the backdrop, which I'll be using some of these, what do you call these things? These tripod things, and some black backdrop to shoot these drivers. You'll be able to see those pictures coming up. Plus, they should bring their helmets with them, and we get a shot of them, of their helmets, on a little platen that runs around. No, I watched a little bit of the cricket, but I can't be bothered. It just sort of is on in the background while we're hanging around the house. I don't know, Brian, if Liam will do well or not. Does anyone know? You only know on the day. Are you coming to the F1 season opener? No, if photographers aren't invited. And I wouldn't go over for an hour and a half thing anyway, it'd be a waste of money. Favourite helmet? I don't have one. I don't much pay attention to them. But nice to see 181 of you here for an impromptu live stream. I would appreciate it though if you all hit the like button. Only 35 of you have, probably even fewer than that. I'd be most grateful if you took 1 second to hit the like button. Thank you in advance for that. Oh, now, any of you photographers might be interested in this lens. See this? It's got a mirror right in the middle. Oh yes, please click the like button, the thumbs up button. Oh, that's good, 30 of you did. Another 30 would be nice. Hello, Albert, another one of my regulars. Live streaming your channel in the plane before taking off. Are you going home or heading away? But look at this lens. This is really amazing. This is a mirror lens and it's a 500mm. Now my 500mm f1 lens, my good one, is about this long, right? It's about out here. This one is back here. So it's a stumpy thing with a mirror. And what makes it interesting is the background, the bokeh, whatever it's called, around circles, like little spaghetti rings. It's really amazing lens. It's manual focus, so it's very tough to operate, but I do think I'll take that to a couple of races this year and have a play with it. You've got to pick your backgrounds right. But there's a fella called Clive Mason, another photographer, shoots for Getty Images. Very, very good. He introduced me to that. He shoots it occasionally for sailing. He's one of the best sailing photographers in the world. Back to your questions here. Have you thought about taking some film bodies? I wouldn't take film bodies, but I might do a morning of iPhone photography of drivers arriving. I might take out one of those little, well, that's film, yeah, one of those little Insta cameras. I don't know. I'll see what happens. Do you get distortion on the edges? I don't know. I've just had, because it's old, this lens, and to make it work, you need an adapter. And I've just managed, after many attempts, to get the right adapter. But for photography people, I'm looking for a dream lens, a Canon f.9 or f.95 lens, which is legendary. It's made in the 60s, and for those of you who aren't photographers, it means that, like if I was using it here and you were focusing on my eye might be sharp, but that part of my nose, which is that far in front of the eye, is out of focus, and everything further towards the camera is really out of focus, and everything out of the back is out of focus. So you get a very, very small plane of focus. But they're very hard to find. You've got to be in Japan, and you've got to be lucky. You've got to go to second-hand camera shops, and a lot of them. Any other questions you've got here, people? We'll have a drink. And thank you to those people that bought merchandise prior to Christmas. It was my best ever year, so it was fantastic, and you're much appreciated. Greetings from Adelaide. I was born there. Spent 21 years of my life. My brother still lives in the hills. Curious if you plan to do photography for Formula E. No, there's no time. There's absolutely no time left. It's just full on with this crazy game. What circuits for alternate races? Maybe one of the Italian ones. The fact that they've got two might suggest that one of those has to take 1 year on, 1 year off. Who knows, though? I'm looking forward very much to seeing Lewis Hamilton in red in Bahrain. That will be the first time I'll see them. But he will be doing testing at the track in Maranello. And I think that will be, I don't know, will somebody be shooting? I don't think that'll be open to the media. That will be only their photographers. So Ferrari will have exclusive pics of that. But that'll be special. And certainly the first morning he arrives at the track in Bahrain, it's got to be crazy. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that he will be in red. He finished off the last day of the year in red, and I think he will start in red. Jack Dillon in Melbourne, that's going to be fantastic. Another Aussie on the grid. I don't think he's going to do very well there. I think he'll be struggling midfield. But you need to start somewhere. His dad will be there, no doubt, and perhaps even his mother. Wow, that's only half a meat pie this week, says Lucifer. I don't know what that refers to. You have a huge following in India. Sad we can't see you here. Well, you get a race, and I'll have to be there. I've got a big following in Colombia too. That always amazes me, and I always get hugs from Colombia. Are there any Colombians here with us? South America, I guess that's early hours of the morning. If anybody's on the east coast of Australia, that probably works well. What are we now? I haven't got my watch on. Must be about 4, is it? 4 p.m. here, so it's 7 p.m. in Melbourne. How was the food in Kenya? It was okay. But you know what I love? I love getting back on Emirates in business or first after a trip to Kenya and just going crazy with the food. And you'll see on this video that I've got coming up tomorrow night where I compare 2 of Emirates' different first-class products, because I flew 2 legs and one was on a 777 and one was on an A380. You'll see what I ate there. And I can tell you the steak on the second flight was stunning. Such a marked difference from 3 flights. 3 out of the previous 5 flights, I decided I'd have steak on the flights. And one I sent back, it was so overcooked, and the other 2 were just terrible. But this was restaurant quality. Well done to them. Melbourne is a street circuit, so probably isn't good enough to be used for testing. Yes, you can't do testing there. A lot of the residents are suitably angry enough that it gets closed down for 3 days of track action, let alone to shut it down for another 3 and have to get it up and running even earlier. Melbourne is a 3-hour, 15-minute flight there and about 4 hours on the way back. Guten Morgen, Smart Race. Wie geht's? Gut, danke und Ihnen. Ich bin hungrig. There you go. That's a few of my German phrases. I did 5 years of German at school. Got a B, I think. Read a book called Das Schiff Esperanza. That was what we had to study in matriculation, year 12. Who do I think is going to win the drivers and constructors? I'll go with Max and McLaren. That's what I think. I'm not having any money on it though. Any airline providing good wine pairing recommendations? I was talking with my brother-in-law here over Christmas, New Year, and he was saying, because he knows I have no idea about wines, he's saying I should get Jace, when Jace flies with me, to do the wine recommendation, because he likes wine. He knows more about it than me. He's no expert by any means, but I may well do that. Hello, Denver. I bet it's cold there. In fact, I'll be going to a cold climate after testing, I'm going to Japan to ski at Niseko, where they have 2.5 meters at the top and about 1.5 meters at the bottom of the mountain, which is fantastic. Kym, what do you think of Lewis Hamilton at Ferrari? I think it's going to be great for the sport. I don't think he'll be doing any silly, funny games with Charles for social media. I could be wrong. It'll be interesting to see. I think he's gone past that. Anyway, that's something we'll know more about once we get into the swing of the season. We are still, what are we? Testing's about the 23rd, is it? So what are we? 6 weeks away? And I have a lot of content to produce until then. In fact, I'm asking for suggestions of videos you'd like to see. If you'd like to DM me or email kym@kymillman.com with video suggestions, I can tell you what works. My most popular videos are any videos about the WAGs, wives and girlfriends. You love that content. Pertinent news. Drivers' dads was a big one a couple of years ago. I'm redoing that. I had 800,000 views of one video. What was that? I looked at it yesterday. Oh, I'm doing it again. Where do drivers live? And I've actually gone and done a whole lot of research. I've spoken to a number of people, And what I'll be presenting in this updated video is exact, whereas a couple I had wrong last year, as I often do, because sometimes you can't get all the information, and you'll look around on the net and you'll think, right, well, I've seen that in 2 spots, so I'm going to go with that. And of course, those 2 people were both wrong, and you make a fool of yourself. But better I get nearly everything right rather than wait till I get everything right and never actually get anything up. Hello, Cape Town. I'm watching your videos for almost 2 to 3 years. Well, you've missed a few years, but I'm happy to have you on board. It's nice to watch you on live and being awake for once when Kym is live. Where are you from? X, what's a funny name? XX, whatever. Yeah, it's... Have you caught up with any of the drivers you've collaborated? I'll tell you something. I got a message last night from Valtteri Bottas. G'day, mate. I'm in Perth this weekend doing a cycling race. So I'm catching up with him. I'm going down to photograph him and maybe even do a little bit of video. And if you're in Perth and you're around the place on Sunday, he will be racing in an event around Kings Park with Tiffany. And he is just a lovely fellow. In fact, I invited him up here, but he's only here for 2 nights, and it's just way too busy. He's got full-on schedule. Now, could a lot of you please hit the like button, please? 258 on here, and we've only had 129 likes, so I'll have a swig of this while you please hit the like button. I reckon I can get 60 of you to hit the like button now. And if you want to get your message to the top, like Milton Brownrigg did, you can go to Super Chat. There you go, Super Chat. And look at that, we had a bit of a bump up, some more to come. Is your son going to follow in my footsteps? No, I don't think so. He'll do a number of races, but he likes his mates drinking here on the weekend and having fun. There is a Canon .95 for sale on Adelaide. Thank you very much. You know, I'll take a screenshot of that. Oh, I'm most grateful to hear that. Well done to you. Who is that? I can't get rid of that off the screen now. John, without an H. And that is the same spelling as Lando Norris's trainer, John Malvin. Yeah, I'm keen for that. The MSC Monaco cruises are 12,000 euros. Yeah, it's a bloody amazing boat. Oh no, can't call it a boat. I got in trouble for that. It's a ship. I do know that. But yeah, that was a pretty interesting 2 days that Jason and I had on board that boat. I would have liked to have spent more. It was in Doha, and you might have seen my video about that cruise ship. They are a sponsor of Formula One. I'm also having chats with some other sponsors, and I'll give you a little bit of an insight. But one of those sponsors says there's 3 stages of sponsoring Formula One. And this might be across the board with any sports sponsorship, but this is a major sponsor of the sport. It's not MSC. Sorry, it's not a sponsor of the sport, it's a sponsor of a team. He said the first year it's all, this is fantastic, hanging around with all the drivers, and it's got we've got all our clients here, and it's very cushy, and you're feeling on top of the world. And the second season is, what the hell have we done? What have we done? We've got all this money, we're ploughing into this sport, and we're clueless. In the third year, it's, right, now we have to get a return on our investment, and they start looking at other ways. So I'm actually looking at ways to help some of these sponsors. And one I was thinking about, and I just saw somebody said Kym by Adidas, and I do love their shoes. I also love Hoka. Is to, let's say, Tommy Hilfiger, who I don't think is sponsoring Mercedes. You might have seen yesterday that they announced that Adidas was a sponsor of Mercedes. And I did have a look at Mercedes' website, and there is no Tommy Hilfiger in their sponsor list. So let's say they've gone with Adidas as their clothing sponsor. It may not be the case. But if I can find someone at Adidas who says, right, here's the outfits that George and Kimmy are wearing in Thursday, and I can do a story on the drivers, and as I always do, and then I can just put a link there so that if you like the clothing they're wearing, you click on that link and it goes straight through to Adidas and they get a sale. And yeah, they might throw me a percentage on the way through, but it's not overt, and it helps people. Because I know when I see stuff, I'm like, oh, I love that, I want to buy that, but people don't want to have to go and spend ages searching the internet, because that's what I have to do to find out what these outfits are called or who makes them. So if somebody actually said to me, right, these are the 2 outfits, here's the link, we've got a page that people can order from, that would be just gold for you as a fashion buyer and me as a Formula One person. Thank you, Joe. Liked my Kenya video. It was never going to be a popular one, but I thought, well, I didn't even want to do one, but come the 3rd day, a few things happened. I thought, oh, yeah, I'll just do one. Because most of my content in January doesn't do well. I don't think there's much of an appetite for content, but I could be wrong. I didn't do anything over Christmas, New Year, because that is a total waste of time. But yes, I'm now posting 4 videos a week, starting from yesterday. Where did you get for Christmas? What did you get? I get nothing. I get whatever I want during the year, so I don't need to wait until Christmas to get it. But actually, we got a car today. We bought a Tesla. We got rid of a Tarago that was handy, a Toyota, which has, what, 7 seats? 2, 4, 6, 7 seats, yeah. But it's got to the end of its life, so we got rid of that and got ourselves a Tesla because there's a bit of travel involved between Perth and Lancelin each week, and it's at least 350 Aussie dollars a week in fuel. It's a lot of money, and that will be substantially lower. It's a Y, Lewis, a Y. It'll be substantially lower. Well, there's no fuel cost, there's just electricity cost. And we have solar up here during the day. Anyway, I think that's a good buy, and I put it on today with the, what do you call it, the lane assist, so it keeps you in the lane. That's fantastic. I don't think it's that much better for the atmosphere. You're still making power somewhere to run the thing. But anyway, it's going to save me some money. So thank you to the gentleman from wherever it was, Mitsubishi, that drove it up here. It's not a Mitsubishi, obviously. Let's go to some of your questions. 278 of you. Thank you for tuning in. James, did you make that comment about the modern day Alan Wicker on one of my videos? Because I don't know who Alan Wicker is, but it would be quite odd if you're not the person who made that comment on one of the videos, because I've not seen that name before and I've seen it now twice. Other videos I'm planning. I've got another video about how I go about booking my travel. It is a monster year. I'll give you a little insight. I do some of this in my video, but you can hear it first. Yes, I do use my phone for streaming because it's easy. Last year, 66 flights, 66 takeoffs and 66 landings. 320 hours in the air, probably another 120 in airports. I flew about 21 different airlines, and it was, in fact, because I was asked what was my worst flight, and there wasn't really a worst flight. I'm sort of hoping for some flight that's a shocker, that I can climb right into some poor service or lousy aircraft, but I've not had one. Oh, and I'll tell you what I'm doing this year. I have booked an apartment. I've booked accommodation in Baku for 11 Aussie dollars a night. That's probably $7 US a night. And I'm going to do a video about the cheapest Formula One accommodation. And get this, it is 200 metres from the entry to the track. It's unbelievably good value. Look, when you see it, it's going to be interesting, because I normally stay in pretty good places, but this one will be an absolute bottom end. I'm thinking maybe I should book more than one berth. But anyway, you'll see that come Baku after that race. $7, it's backpackers, maybe, yep. Look, it is. It's three double bunks in a room. And I guess they've got a handful of rooms. But I'm hoping, And you know what? If you happen to be going to Baku, I'll pay for your accommodation for a couple of nights because I think it'd be a fun video to do where there's a whole lot of people there. But yeah, that'll take place after Baku. What are we, September or something? Google Flights for me. Yep, Google Flights is fantastic. Great way to get a feel for who flies where. And in my travel video, you'll hear that I rarely use travel agents, but this year I had to. To go to Bahrain, for some reason I couldn't get any decent flights. I needed to do some different airlines on the same ticket. And I was lucky, I found a travel agent who made it happen. But I've always been quite averse to dealing with travel agents. Thank you to Milton Brownrigg for his super chat. And if you want to get your comment absolutely seen, so there's no doubt, hit the super chat button and we will get straight into that. I've got a video coming up about my camera gear. In fact, downstairs in my photo studio, I've laid out a lot of my camera gear, and I'm going to do a video where I talk about all the individual things I take. And it's no wonder I lose so much stuff each year. I might have a video on that coming up too, because when you look at the number of different things that I could lose, it's phenomenal. So I've got that downstairs, and I'm just planning. And at some point I will start photographing it and then do the video. Hopefully you watch that video, and I'm also keen for you to email kym@kymillman.com with some ideas for future videos that will be super popular. Yeah, I was going back a little while ago talking about what my popular videos were. Las Vegas, amazing. Everybody loves hearing about Las Vegas. What else does well? Well, the Christian Horner video was huge at the start of this year when all that drama raised its ugly head. Yeah, it's stuff that's topical, stuff at the track that you don't know about, that I see, that is controversial. That works well. The safety car crash in, where was that? Monza. That was a huge video, and it was so lucky that my son happened to be in the media centre and he was watching the screen and he looked up and he's rung me. Safety cars crashed at Parabolica. So, right. And I went for a bloody run with Russell Batchelor and we sprinted down there. It was a good 800 metres. And luckily, things were still there and they were looking at the damage, and that video just did so well. Yeah, people love crashes, don't they? And no one was hurt in that. That was fine. How much would a safari on a budget cost? Well, in the normal season, in the Masai Mara, your park fees per day are $150. That's just to get into the park. That's no guide, that's no vehicle, that's no accommodation, that's no food, just that. It's not cheap, but if you're short on time and you want to be guaranteed to see some good stuff, you'd go there. And if you've got a bit of money in your pocket, you'd go to a conservancy where there are a limited number of vehicles and they guarantee, say, only 5 cars around a sighting. Oh, we saw some amazing stuff. Cheetahs at full pace, and then nearly getting to this little gazelle, and then bang, out of nowhere, this monkey? What was it? Baboon comes racing out and disrupts the hunt. So the cheetah has to give up because there were too many of the, what did I say they were? Baboons. And if too many of them are there, they can do some severe damage to a cheetah. Then we saw lions kill a warthog and then have a crack at hyena. Oh, it's just full on. Elephants mating, the whole lot. I can't believe the USD to Australia. Oh, what is it now? It's just absolutely crashed. I'm so thankful that most of my income is in US or Euro. What else have I got? Oh, that's Terry with that comment. Have you ever been whale watching? No. Look, I've been on a cray boat out here. I vomited on a cray boat, a lobster boat here a couple of times, out fishing, looking for stuff, and seen whales. But no, I'm not much good on small boats and heavy seas. It's not enjoyable, but I'm okay on the jet ski. 62 cents last night. Why is that dollar so strong? what's the euro? Is the US strong against everything, or is it the Aussie dollar is just so weak? Answers below. And thank you to those people who've hit the like button on this. What else am I going to talk about now? Testing, 3 days. I have to leave the straight after testing finishes. USD to 80 is $1.61. Yeah, it's good to be earning money if you're an Australian in US dollars. Is photographing the night races more challenging? No. No, it's not more challenging, it's just different. It's like photographing in the wet. Well, the wet's actually uncomfortable. Can you do an updated driver salary with the newer drivers? Yeah, I can. But typically all I'll do is flip around the internet and see what some other people are saying, because the truth is no one knows. Unless somebody lets slip, some of the team principals will have an idea of what other drivers are being paid, but they'll never tell you what their drivers are being paid, because that's all confidential. I will not be going to the Bathurst 12-hour, no interest in that. Euro is 103 to the US dollar. So, yeah, it looks like the US is just strong against everything. Thinking about going to the Chinese GP, travelling from Stockholm. Do you have any tips? I will talk briefly about this. I don't love the race. I think it's probably my least favourite. And it would have been a lot more unlikable for me if I'd had to have stayed at the hotel I booked, because I had settled on the Holiday Inn Express, which is close to the track, but just an average hotel. It's nothing special. Last year I stayed at the Sheraton in Shanghai, which was gorgeous. A couple of the drivers were staying there, and what I loved is that at the end of the day, on the Thursday, Friday and Saturday nights, is you get back there and there'd be 50 or so young people in the foyer just thrilled to be there and hope to see a driver. And they're really lovely company. And you might have seen my video where somebody said, Sutton, Sutton. I said, no, not Sutton. Yes, I'm not Sutton. That's Mark Sutton, a different man from Britain. But anyway, I was lucky to get the last room not 2 weeks ago. No, not even that, a week ago. I contacted a friend there and said, hey, have you got a room? He said, all right, we've got one left. You can have it. Thank you very much. So I'm going to be a lot happier there. But if you stay in Shanghai, it's a hike out there on the train, probably an hour and an hour back. But the train does pull up right at the track, which is a lovely thing. Yeah, look, it's not a great race. There's not a great atmosphere there. There's so much of the track that has no spectators whatsoever. But it's pretty good value, I think. Oh, and if you happen to be in Paddock Club, you can get a top-down shot. In fact, I'll show you this. This is one that we had. We did a Fernando Alonso signed print deal. That's the shot I get. Look at the size of this book. It's just very unwieldy. It's 4 kilograms. But that's top down, and you would get a similar shot if that's from the top of the Paddock Club. But you would get a good shot. And by the way, these books, which are huge, that's just one book, the Best of 2024 Special Edition, comes in 4 different colours because they're all custom printed. So you might pick that Lando front cover, you might pick Max doing 4, Lewis on the podium, whatever. And the beauty is, if we only sell 7 books, it hasn't lost me a whole lot of money. You couldn't do that if you went and did normal printing. And that's a very heavy book with heavy pages. Can you do a video in Hungary on the new facilities? Yes, I will. I think I get to Hungary early too, because I like Budapest. I like it a lot. I love the people. I love that atmosphere across the road from the Ritz-Carlton. It's just fantastic. And the people waiting for drivers, it's a joy. Budget, Grand Prix, Japan, Budapest. Yeah, they're probably 2 of my favourites. In fact, I was going to do a video about the 3 Grand Prix you must see. And I know in my head which ones they are. So I'll probably do that video. You know what I wish? I wish I could do a video as easily as I do these live streams, but I can't. When I'm doing a live stream, I can't retake anything. I've just got to go with the flow. When I'm recording something, and this is, I'll show you where I record this, right? That's my recording setup. Knowing that if I make a mistake, I can go again, I make lots of mistakes, and I make lots of second time rounds. But yeah, when I do this, it's just nice and easy. There's no thinking involved. I've got no notes. I've got nothing written down. I've got a bits of scribble and some crap around here. But yeah, thank you very much. For 316, we're going up and up and up. That's great. Which drivers are you going to do collaborations with? Don't know. I've got a past driver that everybody wants a signature from, that is interested, but until it happens, it's just in the wind. So we'll see. What does Daniel say? How is it having an editor this year? Well, I had one last year and the year prior. It's unbeatable. I can't do what I do unless I have an editor. I could do 2.5 videos a week without an editor, and I did that for a number of years, but it just absolutely kills you because each video would take 7 hours to edit, and there's not that much time in my day that I can afford to do that. So some stages during last season, I think we did 3 or 4 weeks where we did 6 videos a week, 5 or 6 videos a week. But this year, I want to do a whole lot more. We had a meeting yesterday in our office in Perth 2 days ago where we discussed our plans, and my general manager, Kiralee, brought this proposal down. She said, right, we need to go from 400,000 followers to 2 million. This is what it's going to take. And I thought, that's great, because we didn't even look at 1 million. We went straight past 1 and go straight and look at 2. So that's our goal, 2 million followers. 5 times the number that we have now. It will happen. It's just a matter of when. Milton says, Monaco's a must. Yeah, it's my favourite to shoot by a mile. And last year, one of my biggest videos was that one about the water taxi that ended up on the jetty. That was phenomenal. And if you're new to my channel, let me tell you the story there. My son and I are in the media centre on the morning after this event happens, and these people are saying, did you see the boat that ended up on the jetty? I said, no. Yeah, look at this video. So I go, right. I go to the media centre and say, where's this area? She says, oh, that's over there. So Jason and I go down with a video camera and we find this area, and we can't see anything on the jetty that would suggest that there's been a big incident. But we figure it's in this certain spot, and I see a bloke sitting out in the back deck of a boat. I said, oh, excuse me, and he comes down. I said, I'm an F1 photographer, but I want to do a video about this incident that happened yesterday. Did you see it? Yeah, I saw it. It was right there. And by the way, I'm Logan Sargent's dad. Get out. So I had a lovely chat with Harry, and he's a beautiful man. So he gave me his side of the story. Then I interviewed the skipper of his charter boat. He was staying on this boat. And I got the whole story. And well, that was one of my biggest videos of last year, because I got the story that no one else bothered to get. The whole story of the fact that the guy was on that boat, he was the taxi driver, he had no passengers, and he's fallen off the boat, and he's not had his lanyard connected to the engine, and as he's fallen off, he's ramped up the engine, and of course it's taken off and done a savage left-hander and very nearly hurt some people. But it made for a very interesting video. Is the Baku GP any good? It's all right. It's not my favourite, but I will warn you, the taxi drivers are absolute shockers. They're just trying to rip you off at every stage. Never nasty about it. Always smile, but they're always out to get you. And that's not good for the image of that city. Hi from Israel. Hello, Israel. UK is a great track alongside Australia. I'm not a fan of Silverstone. It's in the middle of nowhere. Wet last year. Just don't love it. I'll turn that light down a little bit. There you go. If you're wondering what light I use, and it's a very big light, I'll show you here. It's from a mob called Aperture. I've just got to tighten this thing here, otherwise it falls off. That's it there. That is very big. But the light is so soft, so even, and it never has given me a problem. Hello, Martin. Wait. I just saw your super chat pop up there. I've got to lock this wheel off here. Hang on. What did Martin say? Wife and I have been following your channel since before COVID in South Wales, UK. What's the weather like with you? Windy, warm. Yesterday morning was gorgeous, but I had to go to Perth for a strategy meeting for the year, so I couldn't take my jet skis out. And one brand new, they're both reasonably new, one's about 6 weeks old and one's 3 weeks old. The 3-week-old one had a drama with the seat where it's called a fish pro, and you can actually take the jet ski seat off, put it up a bit higher, and it makes a little seat where you can fish. And when you put it back down, it tells you, or it was telling me, that the seat was stuck up in the up position, which it wasn't. And it would only go into limp mode, so I was buggered. Could only go 30 k's an hour. So that's being fixed. It's going to take 3 days. Anyway, first world problem. Spanish GP is XX's least favourite race. I don't love the thing either, quite frankly. It's a boring track. Pictorially, it's just ordinary. It's a half an hour drive out of the city, which is, it's reasonable. But, yeah, I don't love it. Hello, South Africa. Lots of South Africans hoping for a race. I think the Rwandans might beat you to it. That's my fear. I tell you, somebody told me the other day, Rwanda has a lot of money. And it's because, this is what this person said, when they had the dramas with the ethnic cleansing, is that what it's called, or the war or whatever it was, not many other countries got involved. It was only after it all happened they realised how bad it was, and then they were flooding the country with money as perhaps a make good. Is that true? Because they do have a lot of money. They sponsor one of the UK football teams, English football teams, and you've got to have a lot of money if you want a Formula One race. And of course F1 had their end of year prize giving in Kigali. I actually went to Kigali Hospital. Just before we went to Kigali to do the gorilla tracking, I was out here on the reef and I stood on some coral and it got infected, but it didn't really come up until I was in Rwanda, and this thing on my foot just kept getting bigger and bigger, and it was filled with pus and it was clearly infected. So I did my 2 walks, and then we had to cut our stay short by night and raced back to the Kigali hospital where they cut the thing and relieved the pressure and gave me all the bandages. And get this, it cost me $7 for all that. In America, what would that have cost me? Hundreds or thousands. And they were very good about it too. Could I do a signed photo collab with Liam? Yeah, I'm talking to his people. Nothing confirmed yet. Was I watching the prize giving? No, I wasn't watching. But I will be watching that launch at the O2 Stadium in London. Might even do a video about that. I don't know what I'll say, and I don't know what's going to be revealed there, but certainly there were no spots for photographers. So even if I was based in London, I understand I probably wouldn't have got a berth. Simon got an amputation in the US once. Right, okay, you got me there. Parking wouldn't have been $7. Any planned signed Oscar prints? Nothing planned. The moment they're confirmed, you see them on the first people that see them are those on the mailing list. And some of them never get to being advertised. So if you're not on that mailing list and just hoping to hear something on my social media channels, you might be well disappointed. So make sure you're on that mailing list. You go to kymillman.com, you go to signed prints, and somewhere on that page there you can register to be on the mailing list when we do stuff. I am having new bucket hats designed at the moment, and I'm going to get slightly different ones this year, and hopefully by Melbourne GP. We'll see. Do you have a number one driver or a collective? Yeah, I've got a favourite driver. I don't ever say. Look, most of them are great. I talk to probably half of them regularly, and The others I would say hello to, but we don't chat. Not because there's anything apart from the fact that they're busy and very hard to get one-on-one. And you don't want to ever try and chat when there's other photographers or media around, because you're not there for that. And you certainly would never ask a driver for a selfie. Although having said that, I did do that once with Daniel when he left Red Bull. He was having selfies with everyone down in pit lane after the team shot end of year. And yeah, I thought everyone else was doing it, why not? Aussie guys in F1, 2 Aussie guys, yes. What else have we got here? Spain won't be a problem in 26, yeah. Somebody was saying that Madrid and Barcelona might swap year on, year off sort of thing. Who knows? Lucky the light doesn't show you wrinkles. It does, and I've got to stretch my neck out. Anyway, I'm not worried about what I look, and thankfully you don't too, that you're sitting here, 298 of you, enduring this or enjoying it, one or the other. Yes, I do play the piano, but not great, and it's too far away. Do you think that the celebrity focus since Netflix caused it to become even more mainstream as a distraction? No, I think it's great. I think what the sport's going where they would have hoped it had gone, it's going a lot quicker. And I tell you what, once this movie hits, it's going to be huge. And I've actually had Jace, both of us are actually doing some work on getting approval to go to the premiere and get an interview with Brad Pitt. And I'd be surprised if I didn't get an interview with Brad, because I bring to the movie an audience of F1 mad people, just 1.6 million across the 3 platforms, focused on Formula One. And all of you would be a potential to buy a ticket to that movie or watch it when it comes out on, is it Amazon? Yeah, I think it's Amazon. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I'll be working hard to get that. Now, Patrick Yannick has stumped up for a super chat. Here's for the one night in Baku. The Sunday race ticket is over £500. How do you prepare for the weather? Do you always carry the rain gear? No, I don't carry the rain gear in the first couple. Sorry, not when I go to the Arab countries, I won't be taking my rain gear. I got it downstairs, and Canon have been very good and got me some more camera covers. But look, I've got really good covers, but they're a pain in the arse to work with. And what I did do this year is buy a very good umbrella, and I will carry that with me. How do I prepare for the weather? A lot of this. That's pretty much it. And do you always carry the rain gear with you? What's your favourite weather app? I never use a weather app. No. Well, no, I just do. No, I'll just voice in what's the weather today. But I do get tips from a couple of the team photographers who say, right, we're expecting rain at 3 p.m. and their information is very good. Here's the thing. The company that provides the weather forecasts, now I'm going to make sure I get this right, is either Russian, Israeli. It's from a company. This is F1's weather. It's from a company that is either Russia or Israeli, and then when we go to another country, and I can't remember which one, they weren't. Their country said it's not safe for you to travel. Or is it French? Oh, I can't remember now. Anyway, their travel warning said it's not safe for you to go. The government says don't go. So they didn't provide weather staff for that race last year. I put it in a video. Remiss of me not to be able to work out which one it was. We're looking at going to Shanghai, been to Singapore, Baku, Bahrain, Austria, says Liam, in the last few years. Do you recommend Shanghai for a fans race? No. But then again, I'm not a fan. I don't sit in the grandstands. I don't know what the experience is like. I know that in the pit straight, there's a reasonably good atmosphere. And really, to be fair, there's not much more than the pit straight and the first turn and the second last corner. I did see Carlos Sainz spin-off in Kuala last year in China. You go along and you tell me what you think. You may love it. I don't want to taint you. And another thing I just picked up the other day, don't go giving bad reviews about places or people in Dubai, because you can end up in trouble with the police for putting negative reviews on Google, which is a bit touchy. So if you're going to do it when you leave the country, or just don't do it. Going to my first F1 this year in Japan. It's a great event. It will rain. You will need your wet weather gear, and the accommodation is local, unless you stay in Nagoya and catch the train. But I don't have an hour each way spare in my day. That's why I pick, where possible, hotels very close to the track, and some of the best. And make a note of these. If you want the very best deals, the very best hotels near the track, in Spa, you'll book De La Source. You won't get a room, but you'll be very good if you can get one. Baku, the Marriott, amazing. Obviously Silverstone, the Hilton, it's right on the track. It's the closest of any hotel. Abu Dhabi, you'll book anything on the island. Probably the Yas Rotana is the best of the lot. That's where I stay. It's still not great. It's a 3.5-star hotel that they're charging 7-star pricing for. What else am I thinking? Let's have a look here. This is where my book's handy. Saudi. Oh, if you've got a big enough budget to stay at the Shangri-La in Saudi, you will love it. It is one of the great hotels of the world. Nothing really of any quality in Melbourne, close to the track. Just looking through my book here. There's China, nothing around China, the Shanghai. Miami, nothing around there. What is that one? Italy, no. Imola's nothing great. Monaco, yeah, a handful of hotels there, crazy money, and very hard to get a room. Canada, nothing near the hotel, near the track. Spain, nothing near the track. Austria, there is one hotel at the top of the circuit, which is lovely. Britain, we discussed. Hungary, no, you've got to take a drive from the city. You know, there's some. You just want to have a look at my video coming up in the next 2 weeks, how I do my travel planning, because I do mention, perhaps in more detail, how that works. But it'll be a lot of travel this year again. Thankfully, next year, they are making Canada not a standalone, because we have to go from Europe, where we've been for a number of races, and go all the way across to Canada for a standalone race and then come back. Whereas next year, yes, we'll be going to Canada and Montreal in the same trip. Saves us a lot of money, saves a bit of wear and tear on planes and environment, and it just makes common sense. But I understand why they haven't done it before, because they've got contracts in place and what we need to do. Are there any other dramas? No, that's pretty good thereafter. Have you heard of people having trouble in Saudi due to SM posts? What's SM? Social media posts? No, I've not heard that. Have I made a video how much it costs? Yeah, I did a video last year about most expensive costs of going to every race. Maybe I'll do another one. Let me make a note of that. How much for every race? The thing is, it's an incredible amount of work to do that video, as opposed to me seeing something happening on track and coming back and talking about it for 10 minutes ad lib. That's just 10 minutes of ad, well, probably 20 minutes of ad lib. Whereas this could be, 3 or 4 hours. And what am I doing now? I'm doing another one with drivers' dads. There's some research involved with that. So yeah, a lot of these videos take a long time to do, and others are very quick. When's the Liam Lawson interview? No, I'm not doing a Liam Lawson interview. Hopefully I'll do that interview with Valtteri on Sunday here in Perth. If you've just joined this podcast, well, no, what is this, a live stream? Valtteri is doing a cycle race with Tiffany on Sunday here in Perth, and he gave me the heads up yesterday, so I'm looking forward to catching up with him, because he is an honorary Australian. Just a tremendous man, very understated, calm, dry, humorous, and loved by pretty much anyone that meets him. Do you ever come into the CBD? Never. Never. I hate it. I got rid of my office in the CBD going back a few years ago, and we moved out to Osborne Park. Do I do all my own research? Yeah. Sometimes Jace will do stuff, but typically, if I'm going to go and say it, I need to be sure that it's true. If it's basic stuff, yeah, but if it's anything at all that could leave me embarrassed, I tend to do it myself. Yes, I've seen VB. He's been hanging around in Adelaide, Clare Valley, doing a bit of stuff through McLaren Vale, CBD, Central Business District, the centre of Perth. Yeah, he loves this cycling. I think it's dangerous. People get hit, as you know. Gordon Ramsay, case in point, is to see his bruising last year from his crash. He's lucky to be alive when he ended up looking like that. You go into pre-season testing, Kym? Yes, I always do pre-season. It's the pictures on day one are possibly the most eagerly awaited, and because not too many of the Europeans come out, there's not that many photographers. Although this year, maybe with Lewis going to Ferrari, there'll be a bigger appetite. I'm there a couple of days early too, so I'll be doing a bit of stuff early. Best places to eat in Scarborough Beach. I've not eaten there in a decade. In fact, I hardly ever eat in Perth, except Nobu. I quite like that restaurant. Am I doing the launch event? No photographers allowed. Listening to you from just down the road in Mindarie. Drove past there. When did I go to town? Yesterday. Or was it today? Yesterday, I think. I had to drop my jet ski off to be fixed in Wangara. Says A. Skinner, I've been to Singapore, Montreal and Melbourne a ton of times. I always find Melbourne easy to walk around and find other GPs not just as easy as get around. Singapore's an amazing event. Singapore is just too hot. I like the people, I like the fact that there's great accommodation everywhere, but it is bloody hot. And especially if you're in a grandstand, and I did that before I started shooting F1, sat in the head-on, turn one grandstand, just ugly hot. Do not wear long pants. That is my advice to you. But I've also done it in a corporate box. They're air-conditioned and it's fantastic. Now, Marco watches all of my videos. Please take a note, you people. If you're not watching all of my videos, take a leaf out of Marco's book. Thank you for that. First Grand Prix I ever went to was an Adelaide Grand Prix, and I can't tell you which one. I sat in the rain one day with Brett Waterman. It was uncomfortable. Also went and stood on one of the right angle corners one year for the race. Also went and had Tonya and I went, and we had a corporate stand at the left-hand turn just as you go into the area, which is it must be about the second last corner. And we saw Michael Schumacher or Ayrton Senna on a scooter drive. It was Schumacher, I think. Yeah. Ever been to Calder Park? No, I've seen some photos of it. That's in Victoria. I don't smoke, James. Never have smoked, no interest. Thoughts of a South African GP? I don't think it's going to happen. I think Rwanda's going to get it before South Africa. Could be 88, 89 or 81. I was living... No. Yeah, I must have come back from Darwin because I lived... Oh, no, 91 I was living over... 88 I was living over here too, yeah. I don't know what the jet ski rego is here. Don't know. They're nice jet skis. The bigger one, the Fish Pro, is almost like a boat. It's fantastic. And the other one is a 230 horsepower thing that's got so much grunt. But you can never use it in the afternoon with that much grunt because it's always a chop here with the wind. Not always. The other day we had just the most stunning day where it was calm the whole day. But that's very rare for Perth and Lancelin. One race for the rest of my life will be Monaco. Ever thought about coming to Adelaide? No interest. I spent enough time in Adelaide, and I know that motorsport festival's all right, but no. Just F1. Thoughts on Australian, Japan, Singapore triple header? Yeah. Is it a triple header? I haven't got my list here. My thoughts are that I have to do it. There you go. But I do love Japan. Shanghai, I'll like it a lot more now that I've got that nice hotel, the Sheraton. Is it true we may lose Zandvoort? Yeah. And it's not a great event. I don't like the accommodation at all. Close to the track, there's nothing, and then they block all the cars going in. Luckily, us as media get a media car park pass, and we can drive in. But the media car park is a bus ride away. So it can take you 25 minutes after leaving the track to get back to your car. And then it can take you another 25 to an hour to get to your hotel if you're not staying in the track. I stayed at the NH Collection last year, which is right opposite the track. And it is a very dated hotel in a fantastic position. And they certainly don't miss you dollar-wise when you book there. Am I doing a video in Monaco? Yeah, I've got to make it different, Simon. What am I going to do? I can't just do here's some runs. I've got a new 360 Insta camera, and it's excellent. It's better than the old one I had. The other one had some markings on the lens, which is a bit of a drama. So I thought I'll just get a new one and sell the other one at a big discount. Why don't you set up for F1 travel package business? Someone's just sent me a message. A lovely photographer, James Gasparotti, lovely fella. Why don't I set up an F1 travel package business? I don't know. I think that'd be a nightmare. Too hard. Like, I love selling these books because you spend a lot of time producing them, and you get them out the door and you never hear from anyone again except they say thanks. But if you're going to sell a package, now I want to change this, now I want to change that, I don't want to do that, it would take up too much staff time, and my business model is to avoid lots of staff time. Here's Peter Yannick again, with another £10, and those pounds are a lot more valuable than any other dollars. When will we see you playing any of the instruments behind you? The bongos? No, I won't be doing that. And there's a marimba over there as well. But thank you for your enthusiasm for the music, Yannick. Peter, because I keep thinking Yannick Noah, the tennis player. Kym, I hope you had a great time in Kenya. I did. It's a grind, though, because you've got to get up at 6 a.m, go on your game drive till 11, come back and have a shower, and 12:30 you have lunch, and then you go back and have well, sometimes we don't go back till 12:30. Yeah, look, you're doing something all the time. It's not relaxing. I could do it relaxing, but if I'm there, I want to see maximum wildlife. Can you play a duet with my cellist wife? I think, Milton, it would be tricky unless she's here. And look, I'm embarrassed by my skills. I used to be a very good pianist as a teenager, and then I didn't play for a long time, and now I got this lovely grand piano here, and I barely give that a play because it's upstairs, and I spend most of my time downstairs looking out over the ocean, which I just love. If you want to get your comments seen, please go to the super chat, which is up there on my screen. Look at how that takes the focus away. Does that take that focus away? Yeah, and that way I can't miss your comment. Yeah, I've got a note here, a video. How much does it cost to attend every race? What race do you think will replace Spa for 28 and 30? I don't know. I don't know. Is there Croatia wants a race, but they've got to build a track first, and then they have to get F2 for a while, and then they might be on the cards. And once this movie comes out, everyone's going to want to race. They're going to have to race every weekend. What do I drive? I drive, at the moment, most of my time is spent in my FJ Cruiser, which is just covered in sand, and sand all through the thing. And then We bought a Tesla today, a Tesla Y. But that's not even for me. That's for people who have to come up and back from Perth, my sons or one of my staff, because we're spending 350 Aussie a week on petrol, and we've decided we can't tolerate that. Scandinavia should get a race. Maybe Finland. I did fly Finnair, not last year, the year before, in their amazing business class seat, which is not a typical seat. It doesn't recline like a seat. It's just a shell, and you have pillows if you want to recline. I thought it was good. And you know what? Mervi, who is if you're from Finland, you'll know her. She does the TV for F1. She's a reporter. She was sitting in 1K, and I was in 3K, and for some reason or other, we both realised that I wanted to sit in 1K. She said, "You can have 1K. I don't care." So we swapped seats, which was nice. Do you see a chance Daniel will return to F1? No chance. No chance whatsoever. I'll get it back before him. Tonight, Tesla on lease? No, don't buy anything on lease. It's a mugs game. Rob Lee, didn't expect that. Thanks for the answer. What did I say, Rob? Would you ever make cheaper photo books? Well, I tell you, if I knew I was going to sell 2,000, I'd go and get them properly printed. But I might only sell 20 of those. So to get a book like that done would cost you $20,000, probably 30 to get any sort of. So no, there's not enough volume. When I finish, I may get a really big book and commit to 1,000 copies. But every book that I sell, once I've covered the cost of my staff doing it, there's profit in it. And that's not the normal business model for book. Normally with books, you don't make any money until you've sold 80%, 90%. And when I'm doing one book per race, I can't be taking that chance. And look, they're just for people who love Formula One. And a lot of people say, well, there was no race program at the event, so this takes the place of that. And if you like nice pictures, this is a good example. But I've got to tell you, if I was to send this to you from Australia, that's going to cost $200 to freight to you. The packaging, the freight, the insurance is a killer. These come straight from the printer, and I love that. I just don't have to touch them, and that's very important for us. And quite frankly, it's one of the best printing mobs I've ever come across, and I've not come across anyone else that can do anything like it. Now, Tim Hunter, long term, do you think Melbourne will need to switch to a night race? Thinking about aligning it to the Labor Day weekend would work well as a night race. Night race would be, how would that go in Europe? Yeah, that would go right in Europe, not so much in America, but I don't know. Terry, thanks again. Thumbs up to Terry Robertson, one of my staunch F1 supporters. Good to have him on board. Well done to us and to you for hanging around. Anyone been here since the start, 73 minutes ago? Terry, you were in early, I think. Milton Brownrigg was a little bit delayed. I don't think you were at the very start. Who's been here since the start? Come on, give us a thumbs up here. I can't do any interviews and at the track. My video license at the track, very clear. There's about 20 different things I have to adhere to. The two most important things are no cars on track, and I have to be the subject of every video. So I can't have the camera turned on anyone else. People can walk behind, fine, but I have to be the subject of the video. Right, Andrew Walker's been here at the start. Kym Illman fan has been here at the start. Who's that? And what picture is that? Milton Brownrigg says, yes, Ariana, hi. My gosh, you people are amazing. You've invested 73 minutes of your day listening to this. Well done. Kayan's lovely, got a lovely, lovely growl to it. Says, me, Ian Robbo, good on you. Great, worried about only being 24 megapixels of cropping if needed. What are we talking about there? we talking about cameras? Yep, 33 seconds in. Lucifer. Yeah, I did see your name earlier. Other race dates in your calendar in Australian time. In my calendar? What, on my phone? I don't know. But what I do is both on my laptop, I have a sticker along the top of my laptop keyboard which shows every race. I also have another one, and the dates of every race and the order, and I have another one that shows me all of the drivers based on their black TCAM, gold, yellow TCAM, all 10 drivers. Then I have 20 drivers and all 10 teams, so that in an instant I can look down and think, which driver have I not considered here? Yes, from the start, Rob Lee. Yes, Marcus, you can go to kymillman.com and go to the shop and you'll find that for sale. Sent to almost any country in the world, and pretty quickly. The moment you order, the next day they're printed. Well, no, it's probably 2 days later they're printed in Asia and sent to you via courier. Do you have a single favourite image from your entire career? Yeah, Daniel Ricciardo coming onto the grid in Hockenheim. I love that photo. You know, I've not taken a photo that is as perfect as that, I don't think. Could be wrong. Maybe I'm just not thinking about it. I imagine the jet lag is quite something. No, and I had a chat with Kim Keedle, who was Oscar Piastri's coach. He's not anymore, not coach, trainer. And I said, how do you get on with jet lags? Just get over it. A couple of times, and sometimes we struggle. And I said, well, it's really, for me, only going into the US from Australia is tough. And typically, if it's only the first night where I might have trouble getting back to sleep after I've woken, say at 3 a.m. And if I've got a day at the track and I think I might not get back to sleep for an hour or two, I will just take a sleeping tablet immediately, temazepam, and it either works or my brain thinks it's going to work and puts me back to sleep. So I rarely have a problem. I've only ever had one flight in the last couple of years where I didn't sleep, and I should have slept because I was on a lie flat seat, and I should have, and I just couldn't sleep. And I took, did I have sleeping tablets? I don't know. But most of the time I've got them handy, and they help. Charles Leclerc is going to be the champ this year. Are you going to have a book with just a single driver or team? Yeah, there's a book about every driver, just about every driver. There's a book about the top teams. There's a book about every race from the last few years. End of year books. No, they're the ones that sell the end of year books because it's often, I can't be everywhere obviously photographing, but in there some of Jace's pictures and some of Michael Potts and Jack Sterling. So there's a number of us shooting, but most of them are mine. But yeah, we can't shoot everything, but I think we get a pretty good selection of images that show the important moments from the year. Right, evening Brendan in Sydney. Right, now with that said, I'm going to thank you very much and say thanks for watching. Stay passionate.